Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the February 1st Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a little time for myself. We will begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. First day of a new month. Happy February. Rabbit, rabbit. I'll take a minute and look this over. The question of the day is, how has my concept of a higher power changed since coming to Al-Anon? And the passage is about a person who grew up with all kinds of different teachings and ideas about a concept of God. When they came to Al-Anon through the literature, conversations with their sponsor, and listening to people at meetings, this person began to have a more broader interpretation of their concept of their higher power. Today's reminder reminds us that Al-Anon is very flexible and there are always many choices. We determine what works for us when it comes to our spirituality. It's all very personal. And the quote is from Paths to Recovery. We can have any higher power we want. It's completely up to us. So I guess I had a pretty good idea of who I thought or what I thought my higher power was before I came to Al-Anon, but I think Al-Anon has definitely strengthened that relationship, and I've fine-tuned my understanding of how important my relationship with my higher power is through my program. And I'm constantly being reminded of it, that at any moment, every moment of the day, I can ask my higher power for help. And then just be quiet, give space to the guidance that I receive, which is wonderful. I kind of had like a sense of what I believed my higher power to be before I came. I didn't call it a higher power, I called it God. And now I call it God, I call it Lord, I call it the universe, I call it the divine, I call it higher power, I call it whatever I feel like calling it in that moment. And it's always evolving, and I'm always trying to strengthen that relationship because I understand that it's very important. moving on. I will take a moment to look this over. This has a tab and a highlighted sentence. All right, I'm going to read this over. Love this page. The passage begins with this person believing that if they stopped enabling the alcoholic in their life, that their alcoholic would recover. And instead, what happened is that it seemed to get worse instead of better. This person realized that they were still trying to control alcoholism, which cannot be controlled. We are all equally powerless over alcoholism and substance abuse. Like for me, what brought me to Al-Anon was substance abuse. It wasn't alcoholism. So that's why I say alcoholism a lot, because that's what the literature says, but my personal experience was substance abuse. Although I do have alcoholism in my family, my distant family. So this is saying this person realized that even that they're not contributing to the problem worked better when they did it for themselves, not for the result. Because when we do something that is the right thing for us to do because it makes us feel better, it's not as important what the outcome is, because it makes us feel better to do what we're doing. We make choices that are good for me. And if they affect someone else positively, hallelujah. But if they don't, we did what was right for us. And in my mind, I'm thinking, but what if it hurts somebody else? But nothing that I would ever do that would hurt somebody, like would make me feel good. I would never intentionally hurt somebody. And if something that I did that was right, that was truly and honestly right for me, inadvertently hurt somebody else, I would have to look at, like, it was the way the person interpreted that my action, or like my decision. But ultimately, we can only control what we can control. Of course, I try to make decisions that are reasonable and make sense for me. And I'm never intentionally trying to hurt anybody. We do what we think is right for us. That's what today's reminder says. That's what we do. And that's what I highlighted. We do what we think is right for us. And the quote is by Jane Seymour. It talks about living your life in a way that makes you feel good about your life. And that makes perfect sense. I can't think of a solid example today. And I'm just getting over. I've been on my it's this eye. It was infected. I've been on an antibiotic for a few days now, and it drained. The infection drained, which was such a relief. So a lot of the pain went away, but I still don't feel like I'm thinking like 100% clearly yet. And I don't know if it's the weather or I don't know, but like my sleep was affected. I'm affected when I don't feel well, so I can just feel like I'm a little scattered today. So I'm sorry, I can't think of a specific example right now of something that I did that was right for me that, could have been interpreted a million different ways, but it kind of applies to everything that we do. Um, like I'm in the process of planning a trip for me and my partner to go visit some friends of ours, and it involves friends helping to take care of the marvelous Mr. Mittens, while we're gone. So just trying to make sure that that all works out, and trying to be like respectful and conscious of like how long we go for, and that we don't interfere with anybody's plans, like the dear friend who's going to be taking care of the marvelous Mr. Mittens, making sure that she's available and that she's not changing plans to be available for our baby kitty. That's all I can think of right now. Ah. We'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I think that was 3. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.